Welcome to the Locker, Season 5, Episode 12. I'm your man, A. Whiteman. It's going to be a whole lot of things different today. Van Hiles is still with the kids, man, coaching, practicing. So that's why I went to the bullpen, bring in some G's, some there's some quality. You don't get this everywhere, man. Three-time NBA champion, defensive college first team all conference and defensive player of the year, but you don't get that. You don't get that everywhere. Then you got your man, my man Jack Pilgrim, always keeping you laced with that UK news. So we're gonna have him on as well at 9:30. But Van should be back by 9:30, so he'll be clogging up that. But me and my man Posey gonna talk a little bit things, man. I'm coaching in the NBA right now. As of now, I got my fingers crossed. So he son playing at TCU. Maybe we can turn him over to a Wildcat. I don't know if that's something I can do. I don't know if I'm allowed to do that. Tampering, I don't know if that's considered tampering. I ain't got no rights with nobody, but I'm trying to get us over on Twitter. on Instagram, but I can't do it because Van will be talking right now and I'll be doing it. I'm not worrying about it. We're going to keep continuing. So without further ado, that's my man Pose. What's going on? What's going on?
What's good with you? What's good with you?
We got all the Big Blue Nation, Twinsburg have been chiming in. I'm sure they're gonna show up, man. But I just wanted to check in with you, man. It's been a minute since you've been out here.
It's been a minute, man. I know you're a busy man and everything, so I appreciate you getting at me so I can get on finally.
Yeah, man. I ain't become a millionaire in my early 20s, but I understand your concern for me. No, so I was somebody asked me this other day, is Jace at TCU, is he a true freshman? He a redshirt freshman, right?
Well, this was his freshman year, yes, and he ended up redshirting, yes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, man, I think he just been there a year, but it seemed like it was over a year ago that he was there.
Nah, he been here this whole, this freshman year, redshirted, and so it's coming to an end his freshman year. But outside of that, I guess he's been doing what he needs to do. They ain't sent him home yet, so that's a positive.
He take that red shirt freshman year in stride. Some people, this UK, man, the one and dones, they feel like, I don't know if you watch them podcasts with all the former NBA guys. They say if you come to UK and you ain't one and done, man, they kind of shun you.
Well, for him, of course, he wasn't happy about it, but it was a decision that was made last minute on like the coaching staff behalf. And so you wait 24 hours before you start the regular season to spring that on a young man with, expectations of him playing. And he didn't, see why he shouldn't have been playing. He took it pretty hard, but, just having conversations with him about, this process. If you're going to redshirt, we're going to do it the right way. Can't go in there with attitude. It's an opportunity for you to work on your game. One thing with redshirt, he was able to practice with the team and travel with the team, which was a good thing, to keep his sanity for the most part. Like, say if you're like a Prop 48, which I was, where I couldn't practice, I couldn't travel, I couldn't do anything. So I think he did a good job of, I guess practicing, hitting the books, getting his grades situated, and getting in the weight room. Seeing him about a couple months ago when I went down there, his little body's filling out. So I think he used it the right way. And just regular conversations with him just to keep his mental right. I think that was important as well.
Just so the people know, man, you Prop 40, you played 3 years, 96 to 99, because we came out of 95, so he had to sit out that year. But so that's what I was going to ask you. How was the development about you because of you? Well, not development about you, but you understand what had to sit out a year. But the one point you did make was that you knew you had to sit out a year going there. So that was the thing. But man, for y'all who watching, well, I guess at this point you ain't have all the accolades you did back in 96 or 95 playing intramural basketball, man, whooping on them kids at 6'8", man.
Well, I mean, that was my season, and that's the only thing I could do because I couldn't practice with the team. I couldn't travel with the team. So for me, I had to keep busy. And I mean, that's one thing, you know, you talk about keeping my sanity or keeping your sanity during that time. You know, people, my family, my mom, my dad, and Coach Posey, you know, he was big because like for the first time I went to school and I couldn't play a sport. So that was different. And so by any means, I just couldn't play. So every week I wanted to leave, go to JUCO, go to prep school or something like that. And of course they talked me off the ledge, and I was able to finish, you know, my freshman year. And like I hit the weight room. I got my grades together too. So it was tough, but I was able to manage it and get through it. But I had a good support system, which helped me.
Lenny came in the same year as you, or he came in 96?
No, Lenny Brown, Gary Lumpkin, Darnell Williams, we all came in together.
And so Lenny gonna pull after all you went through. Lenny gonna keep on pulling that stuff he pulled.
What?
Put this man's business out here. Every time I talk to you, man, we got to go up there and get Lenny. Lenny the one home every week, man.
I mean, well, you got to think, like, yeah, I mean, a young man, he from Wilmington, Delaware. So, you know, he homesick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, you know, any opportunity he got, you know what I'm saying, he was trying to get home. Whether he told the coaches or not, we had to find Lenny Brown because he was, you know, he tried to go back home. You know what I'm saying? And that's understandable.
On a weekly basis, though, it ain't like every time I talk to you, man, they had to go get Lenny, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 4 hours from the crib, so you figure Delaware, you say that's at least 8, 10, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But so he trying to get home, and of course, you know, you've been around different people, the environment, the school is totally different from which he grew up in. So yeah, he trying to get back to that environment just to keep his sanity for the most part. So. I think just the first couple of years it was tough, I'll say, but he managed it. And then, like I said, we formed a friendship, and then just, you know, being away from home, we just had to grow up for the most part. And I just think, you know, that was part of his process. I mean, even my son right now, he's 3.5 hours from home, and he's homesick. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, man, like homesick. And honestly, like, I don't even think I was homesick while I was at school. I think, you know, once I got there, I was pretty good. You know what I'm saying? It was tough, but I wasn't homesick like that. And I was 4 hours away.
Did he report early like they do now?
Yeah, he had reported early, went to summer school, you know, take those classes first, and then they had workouts. So
did you report in the summer?
Yeah, I did. I had to do the same thing.
As a Prop 48, you came down early.
Yeah, so they called it like the bridge program. So it's like the transition from high school into your freshman year. But he had to do the same thing, and I think I ended up taking him down to school May 30th, and he had been down there pretty much the whole time. Like I said, as far as summer school and then the summer workouts and everything.
Yeah, it was the G5 or Gary Crawley said you could have went to Monroe Community College instead of taking that year off. Why don't you go to community college route? I never think of that.
Hey, yeah, I was trying to get up out of it. Like I said, to go to school, just go to school and do work. And my reward wasn't to play basketball. That was tough. And when I honestly, when I say this, like, I was calling pretty much every other week, like I wanted to leave. And like I said, between Coach Posey, my family, and even Coach Battle, Jeff Battle, our assistant coach, you know what I'm saying, just making sure, you know, mentally I was okay and just being there for me. So I think, you know, just having a strong support system. Because I even think like that my freshman year there, that's when I was coming down there. I probably was coming down to Lexington to see you because I couldn't do nothing else. So I would come down there what I could.
Looking, so the man that wound up Prop 48, and I was looking over your stats, man. I knew all these stats, but when you stack all them boys up, man, you got some hellified stats. You get two-time national champion, 2006, 2008. Celtics in Miami in 2016 as a coach with the Cleveland Cavs, and I forgot you was on the Goodwill. You won a gold medal with the Goodwill in the Goodwill games.
Yep.
What's the biggest thing that, or shoot, y'all won the first Atlantic 10 championship at Xavier in 99? Was that the first? That was the first one up ever?
I mean, for us, we ended with that might have been my no, that was my junior year, I want to say, or sophomore year, or my freshman year, whatever. Yeah, but you gotta think because I didn't play that year.
Right.
It stacked a little differently, but I mean, yeah, I was able to be a part of something special. You know what I'm saying? Xavier during that time, during the Atlantic 10, and could have had player of the year, but man, ran into a young fella.
You played Wade? No,
Shante Rogers. He played at George Washington here, and it was basically like me and him for player of the year. And then they end up beating us. You know what I'm saying, that the last game of the season, actually, he hit a buzzer beater, and that pretty much gave him the player of the year. I say that.
Wow. In 1999, you wasn't a sixth man, was you?
No.
Oh, okay. But you was 2-time sixth man of the year, 97 and 98?
Yep.
In the 99, you was first team all conference and defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
So, hey, for y'all in the back who don't hear that, when y'all talk about what y'all did to Twinsburg, hey, and he just went and played basketball. Don't ask what the rest of the squad wanted to do. See Gary Crosby commenting. He played a little hoop too. So don't come over here talking about what y'all was gonna do, man. 18th pick overall. Was you disappointed with that?
Disappointed with
really getting drafted like that back then. We was rooting for you, but
yeah, I mean, even that, like I said, I said in the day I wasn't supposed to be there, and all I did was just work hard. You know what I'm saying? And my competitive spirit, I think, got me there. And that's just going out and playing, whether it was pickup or something organized, just trying to be the best player I could be and be better than the guys that I was playing against. And so just working, you know what I'm saying, each year in college, just getting better. You know, like now it's crazy because everybody think their son could go to the league. And that's how, you know what I'm saying, just like reality is for the most part. Like, it's not that easy. So for me back then, like, I ain't know too many pro guys. I wasn't around pro guys, so I didn't know. So I wasn't banking on going to the NBA. I was just trying to, graduate high school and then graduate college, you know, for my family. And in each of those years, I just got better. And then I've been a part of conversations where, you know, you hear other players, oh, they going to the league. They should be going to the league, and then they don't go. So when people would say that about me, you know, I was like, I wouldn't believe in that. I wasn't buying into that. I'm like, nah, I don't believe it. And I really didn't believe it until I actually got to Denver. Even though I did the whole, you know, the draft ceremony, I went there, shook the commissioner hand and everything. Like, until I got my first practice in the NBA, that's when I was like, damn, I made it. I made it here for the most part. So, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like I said, like, now everybody think it's just so easy. I could do this and then I'm in the league. Nah, it's a little bit harder than that. It's a little tougher than you think. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some luck health-wise, and the man upstairs got to watch over you too. You know what I'm saying? And some factors that you can't control. Sometimes, you know, people may like you a little bit more than others and give you that opportunity. So I've been truly blessed to have had an opportunity to play in the league.
You seem to be. I don't remember ever having no like nothing. I used to see you out there on the ice packs on your knees, looking like an old ass man with them old ass knee straps on, man.
Nah, the crazy thing about it, nah. Listen, for the most part, I was blessed. I played 12 years. I never had no serious injuries at the end of the day. Year 10, I tore my meniscus. That was the only surgery I had during my pro career. Yeah. And even with that, like, I wasn't a big icer at the time. Like, I took care of my body, but I wasn't icing. So later on, probably once I got to Miami, you talk about pads, like, it was probably my knee pads. Because I'm diving all over the place, man. Listen, I'm diving all over the place. I don't want the strawberries. You know, you get in the shower, that shit starts stinging and shit like that. Like, I ain't want that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just how I play the game. So therefore, I'm all over the place. So if I could have a little cushion from the knee pads to the compression shorts, that's what I was using.
You was talking about earlier, man. You was talking about people thinking they can make it to the league, man. Like I said, me, you, Kel, G5. Man, I tell you, and you know what's crazy now? I hear people, like, especially in football, I hear people talking about, man, so and so ain't coming to practice, or so and so did. I said, dude, there ain't no way. Like, it ain't no way. There's no way I'm going to practice without you. Without we in practice, where Cal at? Where Paul's at? Like, It ain't no way. So I'm leading this into saying NIL out there now. And I don't know. I don't want none of your business with Jace or none of that. But you was with Tina Thompson in Virginia. So you was coaching women's sports. And that was pre NIL, right?
Yeah. For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. So
year before.
Man, what you think about NIL? I mean, as an NBA coach, seeing the guys coming to y'all, you being prior to NIL when things was the way they was, because I know it was probably a little headache coaching, just like you said, coaching a modern day athlete who didn't have the grind we had, but basketball all year round.
Yeah. I mean, I just think, like, it was, of course, different eras at the end of the day. So we ain't know nothing else but to work hard. And by working hard, we're going to give ourselves, an opportunity to get what we wanted and where we wanted to at the end of the day. But I think during our time, you've seen the genuine relationships built from coach and staff to players, where, if the coaches did what they're supposed to do by, recruiting you, getting to know you, your family, and the person, Anthony White, James Posey as the person, then you feel comfortable enough to go to university. And that's how you chose your university. Now with the NIL, you got guys in the portal, the NIL, now you can get money by going to these different schools. And that's how the kids are operating now for the most part.
Have you seen it affect kids though? You think it affect kids? Like you said, and I'm not trying to say we was it wasn't a whole lot to do where we from. We weren't from Cleveland. We weren't from Akron. Twinsburg is a small pocket. So all we could ever do, get together, hoop. You might get together, sit around, talk some stuff, but
but I mean, that's why I said we worked hard for what we wanted at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And all our props came to, we put in the time and the work, and everybody like, yo, I respect him. I like his game. You know what I'm saying? He gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? So we wasn't really driven by the money part. We just knew how to make ends meet and get shit done. And that was by working hard. And that was like, you talk about us, we push each other as friends, but also we had good support systems at home with our family too. So we went into the bullshit at the end of the day where we was like, nah, like, you tripping, we ain't on that. What you gonna do? Like, this will be on. And so that's how we stuck together and managed. But in college now, like I said, with the NIL I don't have a problem with them getting money. I don't have a problem, but it's crazier because even during our time, guys that was getting paid under the table, you got more out of them than the kids you getting right now that's paying NIL. For real. And you know about the NIL. But like I said, I just think now you don't have the genuine relationships that's really built through the recruiting part like we did back then. So now everything is based off, those players coming in, like, what can you really do for me? How much money can I get? And I just heard somebody say it, so I'm going to steal it a little bit. But, like, if you're looking at the big picture, you shouldn't really be worried about the NIL. Like, I understand you struggle as a college student, but to have some money in your pocket, cool. But if that's what's driving you right now, like, that's crazy. Like, the ultimate goal, the big picture for you, the student athlete part, the big bag is getting to the league. That's the big bag. That's the bag you should be wanting. So at the end of the day, you pick a school where you genuinely know the coach, you respect what they're doing and how they develop players, then that's you're gonna stay there for one. And you're going to work for 4 years. You're not going to run for competition. You're not going to run from school to school to try to get the bag or nothing like that. You're going to stay there and honor that. And like I said, you're going to work to get the bigger bag, which is being professional on whatever sport it is. And I just don't think they understand that right now. Like, it's cool right now to get the money and, get the car and stuff like that to do some things. And I believe college players should get paid to a degree, should have some money. But you can't let the NIL just be your driving force nowadays. Like, the bigger bag is for you to go on pro. So get in the gym, work on your game. Don't just transfer because of the bag. Because now you got to think, and what they don't realize too, like, while you transferring and going from school to school, you want to be a professional. How you think that look? but everybody, you know what I'm saying, they want the instant gratification of the money and that, and make it seem what it, you know, what it's not at the time. So, I mean, it's tough. And I know everybody's situation is different, but I'm just saying if they're looking at the big picture, you got to put in the work and the time in your craft to give yourself a chance. And that's all you want to do, give yourself a chance.
And you hit the nail on the head. I done said this before. I ain't never said it like that. You hit the nail on the head. If your mindset is NIL, and I'm going to tell you a story, because I know, I'm going to act like I know. I can't tell you exactly what I know because people start wondering where I got stuff from. But if your focus is NIL, let me get this bag real quick. Like, I ain't willing to put in work, because you willing to put in the work, man, I'll do it for free. Put it like this. If you, and I always say this on radio, this how cold I was at that, not cold, but this how driven I was at that age. You keep the money. Let me go out here and work. And so what you want me to do? Give you 400 yards, 4 touchdowns? Now that's hard as hell to do. I probably wouldn't do it. Some of my teammates on there, but they helped me do it. 2 of my offensive linemen on there. But my thing is, I'm betting on me. So if you keep the money. If I don't get it, it's gonna be one or two things. I'm gonna get it. Damn, that motherfucker had 300 yards. He ain't get 400, but damn. Right. Hey, come here, let's talk to you. But we had to do it in Kentucky. And these are the numbers, air quotes, that I'm assuming. Got paid like 80. So what's that, about before tax, like 6,000 a month, 65, 7 a month. So he came out, was doing good. You know, he dropped off. We got some younger players in. They balled out. They got bagged. More than that. But now this dude was a junior. The other dude was a freshman. So they looking like, man, he got bagged, man. I want more. Now, I don't know if you know this or not. NIL is paid yearly. So what you had last year, we ain't paying you that 4 years now. So they drive. Now, me and you wouldn't know these days. So they drop them down. They drop them down to, I think, $1,200 a month. So he said, I'm going to go elsewhere. Start shopping around. They ain't talking about nothing. He wound up getting another SEC team to pay him decent. They paid him decent. Well, it's more than $1,200 a month, which shit, you know, ain't hardly nothing. You talking about damn near minimum wage in Lexington, Kentucky. And well, I don't think he didn't hardly play at the school he went to. So where we at, you made some money here. We saying, look, we gonna let you play here. We still got to field the team. But he was making progress here. He went to another SEC team, didn't hardly play. So I don't know what you gonna do in the league, because you ain't got no film. Only film you got is Kentucky film. But you want your money up front. And now you ain't even talking about a meal. And in the NFL, the minimum wage, now it's like, dude, it's like 680, 700. The practice squad is like almost $500,000, like 480 or something. It's sick. It's crazy. There's a lot of money to be got out here.
Yeah, it is. It's crazy. Like what you said, you know, bet on yourself. I think back then when we bet on ourselves, like we genuinely bet on ourselves to grind it out, hard work. I think nowadays they just thought I'm betting on myself, but they not betting on themselves being smart about it. They bet on themselves being dumb, like just for the moment stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got to be smart. Like and I understand you have belief and trust in your abilities, but honestly, you got to look at the bigger picture of where you are at right now and where you're trying to get to. Bet on yourself and be smart. You know what I'm saying? So you got to put the time and the work in. And when you talk about the money, like, yeah, I mean, I think what you just said about the player, he was getting a bag here. Now he leaving with no film, no tape, no nothing. Then you go to another school. Now, well, that sounds like you running from competition. You running from competition, or you just running for the bag. So whoever gonna pay you, you gonna go. So your whole plan getting into it, you want to get to the highest level that you could play at. I'm not trusting, like, you betting on yourself. It's just not looking good in that aspect of it. If you're just chasing that NIL bag.
I'm gonna bring my dude. I wanted to ask you about some girls college basketball because of the NBA, the WNBA draft was a couple of days ago. But my man Jack Pilgrim, man, he worked over there. Well, you talked to us on Sunday one time. He was a host at that point. He had a little son could mess with everybody. Was at Jack Pilgrim KSR. Probably the biggest sports writer. So on the news break, that's where you get it from. So if you heard any bad news posts, It's coming from Jack.
Jack.
If you hear some good news, it's coming from Jack, man. So
Pose knows me. I introduced myself at a EYBL event, and
the one I was supposed to see you up in Louisville.
You weren't there. I introduced myself because you weren't there to introduce me. So I did the legwork, told him that I was a big Celtics fan, let him know that the 08 title still is near and dear to my heart. So we go way back.
Did he represent him well, Pose, man, or did he come up there acting all?
Nah, he was a stand-up guy. He came up there confident in everything to hold a conversation and intro. So that's big.
So yeah, so now obviously, he worked with us, man. So we had him on, we got coaching changes over there. I know you on the NBA scene. You might be busy. You can stick around. Van is going, everybody trying to join at 9:30. But I did want to ask you this before you left, and Jack may have an opinion on it, Pose. But since you was in the women game for a little while with Tina Thompson over there in Virginia, what do you think about that? Two things. I don't want you to get in trouble, but I know most of y'all NBA do support the WNBA game. That, man, it was good, man. The viewing was great, man. The competition, man. I watched more of the girls' championship or the girls' tournament than I did the guys. But man, we get to looking at them green guys at the end of the day. Ooh, there's some work to be done. You coming out your pocket? Can y'all come out the pocket to help them?
Who? No, I said who come out the pocket? You know what I'm saying? I don't.
They deserve it though. I watched that game more than I watched the boys in the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean, you had some great women players, and just this year alone with the college game and the players they had, like you had probably more eye traction on the women's sporting game for the most part. On top of even you talk about on the professional, the WNBA with the Las Vegas Aces, their team, just like the run that they've been on, and just the promotion of the players just in the WNBA. I think they've done a great job, but I think the talent speaks for itself. You have great talent, and people want to see good basketball, and they have been able to put on, great basketball these past few years. And I think it's just only going to get better, especially with this recent draft class that just came in the other night. So with the talent, I think it's just going to be there. I don't really know the ins and outs of the whole makeup and the money part of it. And, I hear about it, and that's a big issue. But I don't know how it can sort of the game is going to grow. But as far as the money, I don't know the ins and out of the money making process for them to make or have bigger paydays. But I guess they will figure that out at some point, and hopefully they are able to get a raise or two down the line going forward.
Do you think they have to be aggressive? I mean, do you think it's in them to be aggressive, or they have to be aggressive? Do you think it's going to come to the point where they're going to try and push the door in because now they got all this viewing. So you really have no reason to tell them they shouldn't be making it because they saying the product is good. But you also can get some pushback where, hey.
Well, but you got to think about a lot of the money comes from sponsorships and things like that. So who's sponsoring and how much money they're willing to put in. And at the end of the day, nobody wants to lose money. So they're only going to put up enough money to make sure they have some type of return. They're just not going to have the money and come up short or have no return at the end of the day. You have the players that go overseas because, some of those clubs overseas, they have the money to give and to pay more. Even with the NIL now, you talk about some of the young women in college now, they were probably making more than in the NIL than some of the players professionally. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how true it is. You just hear it. But if that's the case, that's another thing in itself. So hopefully they get it together. They get to a point where everybody's happy across the board. But I just think just as a basketball fan, I do like the product that they put out there. I do think they play hard. Early on in my pro career, I was a season ticket holder for the Houston Comets. And that was with Tina Thompson, Cheryl Swoops, and Cynthia Cooper. You know what I'm saying? So I was a season ticket holder then, and I just love seeing them go out there and play. And they play, and they had the same skill set to a degree, and they doing everything without dunking the basketball. So you talk about crossing over, shaking up, or having a nice jump shot. They got all that. They just not dunking. And so I think just the talent in itself has grown and gotten better. Where the game, you see them, they go play hard, and as a fan of the WNBA game, I just feel like they played harder than most men play night in and night out. You know what I'm saying? From their superstars to the last person on the roster, I think they just played hard across the board during the regular season. Unlike, for us, sometimes it's just, we manage the season and we only play hard and we only gonna die for loose balls if it's gonna get us to the playoff or if it's for a championship purpose for the most part. So, like I said, at the end of the day, I hope they figure it out and they could come to some type of I don't need playing field where they're happy with their pay and it's just due.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be. I don't know if you could ever look over the disparity between the two that you're ever gonna be happy with it, and that's why I'm happy we ain't play with NIL because I'll be over there pocket watching. But but Jack, you millennial man, you in this new age thing where y'all change stuff whenever y'all want to. Y'all don't like something, hey, we're gonna change this. We don't like that anymore. We
put shit in action. That's what we do.
Y'all don't care about no consequences. Y'all want to change, y'all go for it. You think the women game gonna see money sooner than later?
So I read something today that said that the profit sharing with the unions, it's like a 50% split for the NBA and it's like 10-15% for the WNBA. So I feel like as the women's game is growing and the popularity is growing, they got to speak up for themselves too and say like, hey, we are building our own brand. Like if we build it, they will come. They are building it and we are coming. Like we're seeing the numbers, we're seeing the viewership. It's also on them to demand as players for them to demand what they deserve in terms of money. If you're getting the viewership, I mean, we got record views on the NCAA Final Four for the women's. If they're getting the viewership, it's also on them to speak up for themselves and say, hey, we clearly have the sample size proving that people are watching our product. It's time for you guys to pay us what we deserve. So I feel like they haven't had the tangible success up to this point of like, hey, we have a product that people want to enjoy and consume. Now that they have that, they have the leverage. Like we see the product that people want. Now it's on them to demand the dollars that come with that. So I think the best thing that could have happened for the sport was Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, the larger than life characters that are a part of the sport. I feel like that was the best thing that could have happened was people wanting to be a part of the story, be a part of the excitement. Now they now have the leverage to say, all right, we now have the numbers to back up that we were watching. Now you owe us X number of dollars.
Yeah, but depending on, I guess, even with that number, you got to think like, how big is that number and where is that dollar point coming from? And you have to, like, if you talk about like fan base, like that's fine. But when you talk about the NBA, for example, you talk about the arenas that they're filling out. So even if you just take $100 or what so from there, like you're in a good situation on, what I'm saying, night in and night out on top of sponsorships and would you say like the companies promoting their brand and things like that, willing to give money to keep it afloat. So I don't know how much of that is really going on with the WNBA. But like I said, I don't know if it will ever be the same. But like I said, for me, I just hope that, saying they are able to get an increase in pay and all and just be a little bit happier than they have been.
And I was going to say this based off what Jack said, and I think Jack had nailed the head, and Marvin Bishop said the same thing, and Cobby Cobb saying the same thing. And this is kind of where I'm at. What I'm saying is so right now, like you said, I just started hearing about Caitlin Clark last year. So I don't know what she did her freshman year. Maybe she wasn't that. Angel Reese I heard about last year. Juju Watkins I heard about this year. The girl from South Carolina, I heard about this year. I only heard about her this year because I thought she was pretty. I was, who's that big girl? She's pretty. So my point is, right now the iron is hot. So here's the thing. Right now, the iron is hot. So the money people, like Jack said, they're gonna see if they can capitalize. But if the iron is just hot right now, Jack, is there somebody next year that can keep the iron hot? Like, is there going to be another Caitlin Clark? Is there going to be another Angel Reese? Is there going to be somebody to come next year? Not just one, because it got to be 2 or 3 to make the product where it's at. Or because if it ain't, you got to strike like hell right now and just throw numbers in everybody's face.
And that's what they got to do. And it's on them to continue to grow the brand. Like, talent's always been there. Like Lisa Leslie, Candace Parker, like the talent has always been there, but it's also creating the brand and creating the excitement that, you know, just continuing to build on that. And like, they have it right where they need it to be. And, you know, a part of it is, you know, like I saw when Caitlin Clark got drafted, she making like $70,000 for her rookie scale contract, and like it became a story where it's like she became the biggest star in sports for this run, and still only making $70,000 on a rookie scale contract. Now is the time to capitalize on some of those storylines and say, okay, we have the brand right where we want it to be, excitement at an all-time high, like. Capitalize on it now so the next generation will look at that and go, okay, I can, you know, I'm not putting all this work in only to get $60,000 on a rookie scale contract. I'm putting this work in because the generation right in front of me, you know, change the measuring stick. They were the ones that kind of moved the scale in front of me and kept pushing the brand forward. So it's on the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese and this brand of talent right now to kind of set the bar of, this is what we deserve, this is what we demand. Let's renegotiate what the percentages are. Let's you know, we're putting butts in seats right now for our product, for our sport. Let's pass this down to the next generation so they see this and say, okay, we can be that. We can now, instead of just setting our sights on $60,000 for a rookie skill contract, why not 6 figures? Why not do 6 figures? And then, you know, it's never going to be NBA money, but if you can set the bar at 6 figures and up, and then make the NIL worthwhile, where you see Caitlin Clark on every other Gatorade commercial, Nike, I mean, every Dick's Sporting Goods, she's on every other commercial. If you can build on that and create the NIL brand on top of just what the salary is, then it becomes an equal playing field for what the viewership is.
Yeah, well, with that, so when you talk about those things in itself, like that's just a individual, like a player driven, like endorsement type thing that they're getting. Like, yeah, you want to grow the game as a whole, right? But those things that you just mentioned, I think come from like the endorsement deals from the Gatorade, the Nike, or these different companies that's willing to give these young ladies the money on top of what they have for their, you know, professional careers. And I think the NIL, I want to say, Angel Reese, with her, she had a deal with some little clothing company or some makeup or something like that. Somebody did, but for her to be able to capitalize in college off that, I think the same sort of has to be done with the women at the professional level. And now you're starting to see more of those professional WNBA players in commercials where you didn't see before. You might have saw one, but now you see multiple players that's put in the time and the work and became that all-star or that top player for their team, you know, in these commercials. So now it's just a matter of getting their face out there and people can see it on a regular basis. But I think everything comes, like most of their money probably will come from the endorsement part. So if you get more people that can endorse and want to give them money, that will add on to some of the money that they can make during their professional careers.
Hey, Van Howes joined us, so I'm gonna say this before we get to UK basketball, because that's what everybody's here for. We didn't have a one back down memory lane with Twinsburg. We up at 300% more viewers than we typically have. But
Van y'all doing y'all thing though. I peep y'all.
Because we doing old school. We ain't like Jack now, where you can just show up one day and put a mic in your face. Now he got 20,000 followers every time he. I done grinded to get my reputation. He just come on and put a mic in somebody's face. Now he getting 20, 25, 30,000 followers. But no, man, I did want to ask you this based off of what they saying, because we're a little older. Posey a player, so he gonna be biased. But this whole thing they trying to do in the WNBA is the same thing that Mike them tried to do. And one fact that always trips me out and Posey, you over there coaching, so you in the front line of this crap. That Michael Jordan is people coming to the league now making more than Michael Jordan made in his final year.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got John Moran, you got people just disrespecting the game.
Right.
Man, they done seen this happen 30 years ago. They just seen Michael Jordan work his tail off. Everybody worked their tail off. Look, we're going to pay you. We pay you on the tail end. Michael Jordan said the worst thing they ever did to these athletes is pay them on the front end. Because why would the product improve? Why would the product improve?
Well, Ed, I'm gonna answer that question before I get to the women's basketball, because I want to talk about that. Here's the deal, man. Every generation is different. My dad was saying guys in the NFL in the 70s had a full-time job before training camp. So every generation gets a little easier. Don't be the guys like get off my lawn. I'm gonna say this about the women's basketball, though, right? Women's basketball stinks in the States. But women's basketball is big time in Europe, and that's where these women make their money. It's unfortunate they have to go to Europe to make their money, but they make their money. They make their money over there, and it's tough because they don't have a break like NBA players have. But I'm gonna tell you this, man: college basketball is in good hands with Flage. They got Ozzie Fudd that's keep getting hurt at UConn. Paige Becker, Juju. The women's game is going to keep progressing because of the girls that are in sports now, and showing these girls that you can be a solid player and make money. And I think that's the great thing about college basketball now for women, because my daughter, who's an 8th grader, is looking at the Flages and the Angel Reese and the Van List and the Paige Beckers, and that's influencing her to want to work harder and get to their level. So the game is in good hands, man.
I mean, of course, even with the money. You got to think when Bird and Magic came in, like you got to think where the league was at that time too. Like you talk about the money, they wasn't getting paid a lot, but the game had grown. So yeah, you talk about the money they made then and now. Like you would think Michael Jordan should be getting paid $100 million or something like that, right? But it wasn't, because the money wasn't there. So now you only can deal with, the money that's available now, and that's just the growth of the game. And like I said, between the endorsements and all these businesses that's invested also in the NBA, and the NBA going global for the most part, the game just growing. That's where that money comes in. So that creates the paycheck for these players nowadays. You didn't have it back then. You know what I'm saying? You didn't have, a TNT or the ESPN like night in and night out for these games. You had, Sunday, was it ABC at the time, whatever it was. And that's you got the game of the week then. And you might only had 2 games that day. So the game is just growing a lot. You know what I'm saying? The money has changed big time. So it is what it is right now as far as that. I mean, it's not going to change. It's just going to continue to grow. But hopefully both leagues can grow in, and the players are happy with the money.
And speaking of players being happy with the money, that's why we got my man Jack Pilgrim on here. Jack Pilgrim, man. Hey, now I did want to hear about. So we're gonna move over to UK basketball. So that's what we got a whole lot going on over here.
Wait a minute, Anthony. I'm 40 minutes late. And y'all haven't touched on UK basketball yet? Come on, man.
No. You be on time when you want to. You be on time when you want to join the show. You come in after we wrapping up women. We done been on women for almost an hour. But
now you know that's wrong. You know that's what I like talking about, and you're gonna lead off with that. That's bad business.
We led off with Twinsburg basketball. We've established. We probably once you start locally talking about, man, who in media can put together a team? Me? Ain't nobody in media be the team. Nobody.
That's a 1900s. That's a 1900s. That was 1900. Them old times.
I guarantee you, Gary still play. The one, I guarantee you, James still get him up. Kel, I know he just stay in shape. I'd probably be the weak link. But they owe me
you the weak link back then.
They owe me a piggyback ride, so it's cool.
Hey, just know, a mule get tired. A mule get tired.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but Jack, man, it's a word on the street. They saying that there's a possibility we're gonna retain some of the coaches that didn't go with Cal. For those who's listening,
I don't know about all that.
If it's early news, I know you got to write your story. That it's early news, man.
So yeah, the story is Orlando Antigua is not following Cal to Arkansas, but I don't know if he's joining Mark Pope's staff in Lexington. I think that's a conversation he wants to have. He has a very expensive $400,000 retention bonus that's set to hit June 1st. That makes him very much want to stay in Lexington for his own benefit, but I just don't know if that's a fit. I've heard Illinois, they just opened up a spot on Brad Underwood's coaching staff up in Champaign, so I would bet that he ends up back at Illinois. But I'm telling you right now, the talk of the town is that Cal's selling people on Fayetteville is not going very well. Lexington isn't the sell. Fayetteville isn't the sell that Lexington was. So it's been a lot harder than I think he thought it was going to be when he took this job.
Wait a minute. So you got them people. The first thing is this, and I don't know if Van is surprised by this. You said his asking price is $400. So his asking price is $400, and the big dog is making 1 point something.
He has a retention bonus that hits June 1st. That if he stays at Kentucky,
he'll get extra.
It's $400,000 cash.
Extra for him. That ain't his salary though, right?
No. He already makes $1 million a year.
So okay. That's what I was thinking. Okay.
This is $400K on top of that he wants to be. He's still employed by the university. He wants to stay here and get that retention bonus at by any means necessary. But I don't think Pope wants him to stick around.
So hold on, Van and Posey been down here. Jack, you're probably the only one who ain't been in K1 running around seeing what K1 was like back in the day. Van had to get out of here. I started talking like that. Van said, "I'm gone." But is Fayetteville that much for the athletes? I understand working wise, it's different, but are the athletes gonna want to spend time there?
I mean, just with anything, you think the campus life on and off the court, the facilities play a major role in a lot of these things, and I think now that's what these younger players are leaning on. Like I said, I don't think the genuine relationships building that's needed in the recruiting with player, coaches, and family and stuff like that is as strong as it used to be, and you can lean on that stuff. So if you have the right facilities, I think, and as far as weight rooms, the arena, I think that's what you can sell to the kids for the most part. And then of course you got to win games, so hopefully you're putting together a nice little squad to win some games.
Jack, is something along that lines, or is it something along the lines that are they actually expecting Cal to come in and do immediately what he did? And they don't have the John Wall, the Bledsoes, the Cousins, what was the other, Daniel Orton. They don't have all them dudes lined up. Like, ain't even that many dudes that good in high school basketball now.
I mean, I talk to the parents, I talk to the families, I talk to these kids directly. They weren't sold on the dream of Fayetteville. Like I called one of the parents of one of the high profile signees as the news was dropping that Cal was leaving for Arkansas. And they said, whoa. I was selling my kid's dream on Lexington, Kentucky basketball under Coach Cal being a lottery pick. I wasn't selling my kid on Fayetteville, Arkansas under Coach Cal. Like there's a different level here where I think that sell has been way harder than I think Cal anticipated when he decided to take this deal. Like this was something that I don't think he thought through completely.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're great at what you do, and I don't know everything. I don't know a lot of stuff, and I'm not the smartest, but I'm not the dumbest as well. But even the sale, I think you probably left out the NIL part as well. But if they're talking about that and it's Calipari that they believe in and trust in, that's an easy sale. If your kid is trying to get to the league and you know his track record as far as getting kids to the league, and he knows how to pick talent for the most part, that's an easy sale. So they probably left out the NIL part, the extra money on the side, and these other benefits that they probably would have been getting. And it looks better in Kentucky, I guess, just because of tradition. And that's earned for the most part. But you go to Fayetteville, and Calipari is going there, and the guy that's been able to put pro players, take college players and make them pro players and get them in the league, like that's the selling point. That should be an easy sell for the most part. So you either believe in Cal in doing so and getting them there or not. So now it goes back to.
It's true. It's true. That part is very true. But the issue is Cal didn't even want to be in Fayetteville to begin with. He talked through this deal, agreed to terms on this 5-year deal, thinking that the love would be returned on Kentucky's side. And he okay, hey, Arkansas wants me on this 5-year, $7 million per year contract. Do you guys sharing the same love for me? And UK said, sounds like you are already trains down the tracks with this other program. You should go on and take that. And Cal had to go on and take this deal, not wanting to leave. Like, it was my understanding that Ellen, the wife, didn't even want to, said that she wasn't living in Fayetteville. So there's a lot more to this story that, okay, if Cal's wife doesn't even want to live in Fayetteville, how are you going to sell 16, 17-year-old kids on going down to Fayetteville too? I agree. Cal is the brand. He's going to get dudes, but they went hand in hand. It was Kentucky with Cal. He's still going to get his guys, but is he going to get them at the same rate that he was able to get them at Kentucky, which is the best of the best? The early read, talking to the parents of these kids that are, the Jaden Quaintances, the Boogie Flans, the guys that were already signed to play for Cal, the reason why Jaden Quaintance is visiting Louisville tomorrow is because Arkansas ain't Kentucky. There's a big gap there where we were sold on the dream of both of these things in our hand together, Cal and Kentucky, not one or the other.
Yeah, so it's so still again. So is it, if it's not the basketball part of it in Cal being able to get those players there, is it the campus life? I mean, is Lexington cracking like that or something like that? I don't know.
You done been down here before. Where do you think I live at? You think I came here and stayed? You think I came here and stayed for no reason? You think
I know you love it down there, but I'm saying is it cracking like that where they like, yo, coach can go, but I still want to come to Lexington, play, or they just want to wear the uniform.
It's the brand.
Nah, the
brand
and the fans are different.
But
the brand and the fans are different.
Right? But if they're smart, they can help create that brand over at Arkansas. Like if you that good, y'all win. There's that idea. But that goes back to, everybody built a little different.
Well, you do know, I know Jack's probably going to say something along the same line. You do know Cal is not in Lexington anymore because he didn't win.
And I thought that was the issue too. And maybe both sides going back and forth, even though he had.
But I'm saying, Arkansas, you saying if they go to win, they're going to change the culture. He wasn't winning in Lexington when he was getting everybody.
But I'm saying though, okay, the tradition of winning there is big. Bleed blue, whatever y'all say down there, that's big and everything, right? So now, you need to win. You're getting these players in. Hey, maybe those players not as good, but they didn't win. So for him, a fresh start to go somewhere else, still get some talent and try to win there. That's the only thing I can really think of. Honestly, the whole winning thing. Yes, you come to UK, you expect to win championships at the end of the day. And he wasn't able to do it. He wasn't able to win as many. Maybe if he had 2 more or 3 more, it's a different story now. But now, he just only had 1 in his time there. That's
everybody that been here anybody that been here that can coach decently only had 1. Hey, Jack, he said my dude, G. Crosby called. He can hoop. He hoop. I think they played in rec league when we was an adult. When we hit like 11 threes, man. But he said that Memphis. He said they brought talent to Memphis. Memphis worse than Fayetteville.
Yes.
I mean Fayetteville worse.
Yes.
Fayetteville worse than
Memphis. Look. I was recruited for Arkansas. Fayetteville is not that bad. Now it's not Lexington, but it's a college town. I'm trying to think of what it'd be similar. I would say this: Fayetteville is better than Mississippi State because I went to Mississippi State too, and Mississippi State get players. So if Mississippi State can get players, why can't Arkansas get players? So I don't think the location is as bad as some would think, but I think just the Kentucky has a little bit of more of a brand than not a little bit, has a lot more brand than Arkansas, and that's probably what's hurting Cal.
It's the up and coming version. Memphis, Cal was the up and coming guy that everybody wanted to play for. Cal right now is kind of the like, hey, he's nostalgic. He's a guy that like, okay, he's been at the highest of highs, but he hasn't been there. I mean, it's been a decade since he's been to a Final Four. Yeah. He's still putting guys in the league, but not at the same rate as the John Walls and Karl Towns and those guys. So you fall in love with him for this nostalgic factor. At Memphis, he was the guy where it's like you could buy into him up and coming, not necessarily like he's kind of on the tail end of his career versus on the up and up. And that's what recruits are seeing right now.
And didn't Cal get out of Memphis at the right time too, though? because I'm not sure he was going to be able to sustain that for 4, 5, 6 years at Memphis either.
Well, I thought it was some academic stuff, kind of like they try to do with the.
Hey, leave D Rose alone, man. Leave D Rose alone.
But he said, we got people asking you inside questions, Jack. Man, they want to know. Didn't he bump heads with a booster, or was it boosters plural?
Yeah, plural for sure, and that was part of the reason. It was Cal became bigger than the program, which Cal is a brand. He's his own guy. But the issue with Cal is he turned so many people against him by being his own guy that when the money stopped coming in the way that it was when he first got there, and now that he's gone, the people that were gone are now wanting to share their resources with the new administration. So it was, I think it was blown a little bit out of proportion. I think the money was fine with Cal, but a lot of that was on his own doing. He had to go talk to his own people and, his own NBA guys. He had to use his own Rolodex to go pull in resources. But now that Mark Pope is in and people are kind of buying into this new brand of Kentucky basketball, the guys that were kind of in the shadows and, kind of put themselves out of sight, out of mind, they are now coming back and saying, hey, I want to be part of this new rebrand of Kentucky basketball. So it's kind of both. But, yeah, he had a non-relationship with Joe Kraft and some of the high-level boosters that have, Kentucky desperately needed for some of Cal's own wrongdoing.
Let me ask you this, Jack Pilgrim, just because we said this on Sunday, and here's some of the part. You make hella 5 points, but I think you make hella 5 points knowing what you already know, because all you've seen is success from Kentucky. And I think Cal brought a lot of that to him. And this is what I liken it to. Say Jack Pilgrim one day decides you've been on the locker all of a sudden, man, you decide, man, I like the way they do it. They do things their own way. I want to come up with a JSR podcast. And you start making millions. And you start putting their business out there. Well, this is what happened when Cal was there, and people don't like it. And then the big hats want to start coming. Hey, Jack, they're in the background of your house, Jack. And you like, no, man, I made my brand. Like, I made my brand. When y'all was out there listening to KSR, whoever else, the locker, so now, and I'm saying all this to say Cal came in here. We were on down times. So Cal, I don't understand how the money worked. Y'all keep talking about it at the end of it. Yeah, they pulled their money away from him because they couldn't hush him, which kind of goes back to what everybody been saying. And I don't want you tied to this comment, but it kind of goes back to when he kneeled, everybody was, oh, that's the problem. when he lived with the team. Because my point is he pulled us out of the dumps. So why does he? No, he shouldn't be the face, but he the one who took the leap of faith to be the coach here and wound up being successful. And then they pulled their resources away from him for whatever reason. I don't know. But now I'm reading between some lines. So I need a hush before we get taken off the air.
No, I mean, there's a lot of that. And it became Cal, his brand became bigger than Kentucky basketball. And like that was, there is a beauty in that because Cal as a brand has done so much good for the state of Kentucky for, putting kids in, generational wealth for so many kids that desperately needed an out. Like he did for what he did for this community, for this university, for this athletic department, and for these kids. Nobody could ever touch that. But when ego gets thrown in that as well, and it becomes kind of like, these are my kids and this is my brand, then it kind of fogs things up a little bit. And that's where it became, he became bigger than the university. So I get it. I totally, Cal, for what he did and when he came in, his shelf life of 10 years. I mean, sure, he had that UCLA deal where he had an out in 2019. And he even says now that he regrets not taking it in 2019 because that was kind of the peak of the peak. That 2019 team, that run, that decade run, I mean, he hit highs that nobody else could ever touch. But when you get that extra 5 years and the dust settles on things and it just doesn't, the messaging that he had before that was hitting is no longer hitting, then it kind of becomes, okay, the University of John Calipari, you sound like you're going against what the Kentucky brand is. And it became bigger than Cal. It became bigger than the school. And there's truths to both sides of what you were saying, Anthony. It's so Cal was right in what he was saying, but it also, he needed a new audience.
So Cal, you say his brand for the most part, and what he's done, he was able to, I mean, he was paid what he was paid. What is I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, but what was the amount of money that the university made by Cal being there? You know what I'm saying? So you talk about Cal being there and his brand, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, he's getting paid to do this, but also I think by him bringing the players that he brought in and things like that, I think the money wise for that university has to be up there pretty high as well. So I think they both ate off each other's hands.
We mad because it's been almost a decade and he ain't been to a Final Four.
And that's what
whatever he did in the beginning.
I understand that, like you come there to win and stuff like that, but when you talk about, like in this case, like you talk about him moving on, transitioning, and what he's done while he was there for the most part, granted, he was paid what he is paid, his brand for the most part, but also I think, like you said, if you caught UK when they were at the bottom, shit, they had to bring some money to get them back up to where they are right now, at least being respectable. Now they had money involved, so I'm sure they had a big enough gain as well where they capitalized off each other and did each other good.
The issue with that is, though, no second weekend since 2019. So the money and the brand buildup that you get when you are in the Elite Eight, when you're in the Final Four, when you're in the national championship, the stuff that kind of made Cal in the first 5-6 years that he was at Kentucky, he hasn't had since 2015. I mean, we haven't seen the Sweet 16 since 2019. We haven't seen a Final Four since, an Elite Eight since 2017. So there's just kind of a two sides of that where the longer you're in the news, the longer you're a bigger storyline. If you're losing the first weekend to St. Peter's, you're not the same brand that you were when you're, undefeated going into the Final Four in 2015. And that's he kind of lost the spark that he had in that first 7 years that he was at Kentucky.
I will push. I just don't understand the Cal's brand getting bigger than the Kentucky brand, because Cal brand isn't big without the Kentucky brand. I just, from the outside looking in, not being in Lexington and not hearing the narrative, being on the outside in, even though I'm an alum, but when I look at it, I don't see Cal superseding our brand. I just don't. That's just my opinion. I think without Kentucky, Cal is not Cal. I mean, Cal at Memphis was good, but without the backing of the holding up Cal, I don't think he supersedes us. But I would say this: he was so successful early on that the only thing he can do was fall. You can't be so great for 7, 8 seasons and then sustain that for so long. And I think that's the bad thing that happened. And I think our fans got entitled and full of themselves, and they want to put it on Cal. But the cycle of life of this program is, because when I got there in 93, we won 96? Dude, there were 10 plus years since we won a national championship. And I remember that because it was hyped up for so long. So it's kind of interesting that now Cal has a 6-year reign that was subpar. Don't count the COVID year, because I hate people say 5 years. Did that 5 years run to the COVID year with Maxey and Higgins and IQ, which probably would have did some hay in the tournament. So it's really 4 years. And it's unfortunate that it's like Mark Stoops. Cal set himself up for failure. And I like the guy, but sometimes the voice gets stale, not only to players, but to media, but to the administration. It was time to go. And I think he did us a solid the same way we did him a solid. So I think we need to stop talking about Cal, man. Get him. I mean, why are we still talking about the guy who's no longer here? It makes no sense.
I think y'all some dummies. I think y'all missing something. Big dummies. You know why? Because all this stuff that happened, and they gave him a lifetime contract. How long was it before he went down? Everybody act like he stopped coaching with a lifetime contract. He was the same coach to me.
Right, he was.
But that lifetime, why would you offer him a lifetime contract?
Right.
What was the point of offering him one? Didn't you
because
just
he was about to leave the UCLA?
And him, huh?
Because he was about to leave the UCLA. He had that contract in hand, and that was Mitch Barnhart's response to, hey, we don't want to lose you to another blue blood, historical John Wooden, fill in the blank of narratives. He just wanted to bring him back so he didn't lose him to the other historic blue blood.
So at that point, he was scared of losing.
Absolutely.
Still at that point.
That was 2019. That was when we were still getting the second weekend. Since that deal, we have not been in the second weekend.
Huh? Yeah. I think some of this stuff can just be coincidental. I don't know. A lot of stuff may just be coincidental. But I did want to ask. It was about so what I'm getting from you, now I ain't gonna say I'm getting from you, because I talked to some people that was close to acquaintance.
Who is you?
Jack.
Oh, I see how y'all. Okay, I see how this Sunday morning sports talk. I see how it is.
No, but I don't know what this. I don't know what this.
We might as well mute our mic.
I don't know what inside information you got.
Zero.
And Jack is giving us his time, and he's supposed to be fathering, so he's offering time while he's fathering.
My bad.
So I know he was supposed to go with Cal. What I got, he was going with Cal. Everybody kept saying he was going to stay at Kentucky. Quayton said he was going. So you don't think he's coming back to Kentucky, or that's still open, but he ain't going with Cal.
So I'm actually real close with his dad. I actually called Jaden Quayton's dad the day that Cal left. I called him and woke him up. He was dead asleep. I called him and said, have you looked at your phone? Do you know what's going on right now? He said, "Oh, Jack, what are you talking about?" I said, "Bro, you need to open your phone and start calling people, because Cal is on his way to Fayetteville." And he was pissed. Very, very, very pissed about how all of this unfolded. He talked to Mark Pope. They talked, and I don't get the vibe that Mark Pope is messing with up and coming teenage recruits. Like they talked. He said, "Hey, you have a spot here if you want to be here, but like I totally understand if you want to try something else, go follow Cal, go follow another school." And I think Mark Pope has a system. He has a vision for what his brand of Kentucky basketball looks like, and it does not include 16-year-old teenagers that have to stay 2 years in college basketball. I disagree with it. I think Jaden Quains is a guy that you gotta do whatever it takes to bring in because he's the best of the best. And I mean, I love him to death, but Mark Pope has his own brand that he's selling to these kids, and talking to somebody that has talked to Mark Pope about sending his kid to Kentucky, it does not sound like that's in his plans. So I don't think Jaden Quains ends up in Kentucky.
Wow. That's the same thing I heard you say about Aaron Bradshaw, Jack Pilgrim.
All that stuff was still very true, by the way. And now that he's gone, we can get real into the weeds of that if you really want to.
No, I ain't getting no weeds, man. He should have stayed injured. And I'm not saying, hey, I've been saying all along, let them people not know what you got, man. Don't go out there and show them. You're wrong. Somebody asked about the GM. GM, we got GMs in college basketball?
Nah.
We need to. Cal didn't think he needed to, but we need to.
What is that considered? Athletic assistant, athletic director?
No, it's a guy that helps construct rosters and doesn't like.
Cal that's the title, general manager.
Cal was spread way too thin because his assistants did not help the way they needed to. That they were assigned to roles that they did not fulfill, and Cal had to do all of this stuff on his own. Mark Pope needs help. He needs dudes to help him build rosters and help him understand the landscape of college basketball and NIL and transfer portal and all that stuff. He needs help. So that's kind of the latest and greatest thing. Like Duke signed one, Villanova signed one, North Carolina. It's kind of like it's the having a GM to help construct rosters as the new up and coming thing in college basketball. Mark Pope needs one. He absolutely has to have one.
Posey, what's your number?
What's
your number?
You got my number. Shit,
your
speed
figure.
dial.
No. What's your salary number? Not your phone number. We know what we got to pay you.
I mean, you know.
Hey, I can holler at Kenny Brooks for I can send it to both of them, man.
Listen, we can talk about that. We ain't gonna put that information online right now. We ain't gonna put that.
Oh yeah, we ain't tampering.
When you talk about the whole recruit thing, I got a question. Was Jay Lucas was he there or he moved on? Right?
He's a Duke. He's at
Duke. That's right. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. What else? Hold on, I got to go back to these questions, man, before I let you go, man. Everybody want to know 1 year. Okay, so looking at the roster composition, and you posted the people. The roster composition had to be what Cal came in here with. Don't have to be one and dones. It don't have to be an exciting brand as long as it produces points. Because I tell people a lot. The only excitement we had in '98 was that every game was close. Like we didn't know if we was gonna win it or not at the end of the game. So they look. Everybody concerned about the roster getting filled, but they concerned about the roster getting filled with top players. If Mark is getting exactly who he wants to run his offense or play on his team, then we fine. Or the fans ain't gonna be happy with that. You say what?
Be happy, Anthony. We ain't winning the summer. If we got a top 20 class, we ain't winning the summer. What is Jack Pilgrim gonna be talking about right now? We got a top 18 class, not top 5. It ain't gonna be good. It's just gonna be stale. Right?
If we don't win the summer, Jack Pilgrim, you gonna be reporting bad news?
All I'm saying is BYU is not Kentucky. Like the issue, the one concern I have about Mark Pope is that he has established a system that works tremendously at BYU. It works. He stepped into the Big 12 and had a really successful year one at the high major level. But the issue is BYU is here and Kentucky is way up here. You can't recruit the same dudes. You can't hit the portal the same way that you did back then. You have resources right now that you did not have back then. That's the one missing link right now with all of this. I like some of the guys that Kentucky's reaching out to right now, but we don't have a foundation set yet of a roster. What that looks like, I talked to a parent of a guy that one of the top portal guys in the nation right now. A parent right now says, I like Mark Pope, but the issue is he has nobody else on his roster. We don't know what the vision looks like right now. He doesn't even have a staff finalized right now. So yes, it's fun to think about what that would look like at a Kentucky, but we can't trust that brand just based on a vision, just based on hopes and dreams. We need to see a tangible foundation of a roster set, and right now that's not there. Right now he has a dude that's been on a 2-year mission in London and Sierra Leone. It was a top 40 recruit in the 2022 class, a Mormon kid that's now making his debut in college basketball. That's one. And then you have Travis Perry, the all-time state's leading scorer, for your second guy. That's it. You have 2 incoming freshmen. One hasn't played competitive basketball in 2 years. The second is a 5'11" shooting guard from the state of Kentucky.
Anthony, this is your chance, bro. Anthony, remember when you tried out for Tubby? This your chance. We'll have a half semester. We still have a semester, Anthony. Let's get it.
Hey, this all I. Hey,
So does
I was waiting to call him a big dummy, but you came up with some good points. Only thing I'm gonna say is, Hal Mummy came to SEC from Valdosta State, which is a physical sport. This ain't got nothing to do with that moving around. It's a physical sport, and people thought the same thing about Hal Mummy.
And y'all still 75.
But we ain't have no defense coordinator. We were 7-4. We were 7-4.
Did y'all not play a bowl game?
You don't count those damn bowl games.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Tim Couch got hit 18 times in that damn game.
So see how he don't want to be 75. See how he want to.
Hold on.
Won the bowl game.
Hold on, then.
You only won the bowl game.
If you throw a cupcake in that season, a cupcake, we 8-4. Where's that rank all time seasons? Where's that rank all time season? Kentucky?
Did you say what if? Did you say what if?
4. So 4 loss. 4 loss. Leave it at that. 4 loss. Okay, all right. 4 loss. Okay, all right. Yeah, the amount of wins you had in your career. Go ahead and say whatever y'all was gonna say.
I got a question then. So
go ahead, man.
Y'all talking about the recruiting for Mark Pope, right? So does he have a chance with any one and dones? What Kentucky is used to having or getting, or does that completely go out the window? And like it sounded like you said, like he prefers the older, probably seasoned players from, you say, even I guess sophomores to juniors and seniors and grad students coming back an extra year to fill out a roster, or am I far gone from that?
Talking to the players that, I mean, there were 6 of them already committed to this upcoming class, that most of them were willing to listen because they like Kentucky. They wanted the brand of Kentucky. They talked to Mark Pope, and they did not get the vibe from Mark Pope that they were serious about taking the next step there. That the verbiage was, yeah, like if you want to come, if you're dying to play at Kentucky, we'll take you, but it was never the vibe of we need you. And they were like, okay, well, if you don't need me, I mean, I'm a top 15 recruit in the country. I'm not going somewhere where I don't feel needed. I'm going to go find somewhere where I feel needed. So that's the hang up right now. Mark Pope's saying all the right things in these press conferences. He sells out Rupp Arena and he stands up at the podium at the microphone saying, we're going to go get Burger Boys. We're going to get 5 stars. We're going to get top 10 recruits. That sounds great on paper. It sounds great in a press conference, but talking to the people that are actually Burger Boys, actually top 10 recruits, I do not get the vibe that he gives a damn about these kids. That he cares about experience. He cares about portal. He cares about seniors. He cares about grad transfers. He wants experience in building his own brand of Kentucky basketball that is a polar opposite from what John Calipari did in Lexington. So he might say all the right stuff, but if you have 6 high-level recruits coming in for this incoming freshman class and you don't want not one of them, Travis Perry being the lone example because that's a layup, sounds to me like you care more about the transfer portal than any high-profile blue-chip recruit.
So would you say that's Mark Pope in itself, or is that coming from the AD or someone saying that, like, no, this is what we're going to be on now? We was doing the one and done. We need basically 4-year, I'm just saying, like, if it's the message of 4-year players here that's going to spend time at Kentucky, grow, win, and try to win championships that way, is that a message coming from above, or you think this is Mark Pope they're just going to let him do what he wants for the most part?
Man, I think it's Mark Pope doing his own thing, him established, because he's still talking to Liam McNeely, who's this top 20-ish recruit. Like, I think it's about fit in finding the right guys that fit his play style, fit his system, fit his 5-out, like certain thing. Like Big Z was a guy that he could have had, but I don't think the maturity was there. Like, I think he's looking for a very specific fit. And if it happens to be a freshman, he'll consider it, but just in a vacuum, he is not looking for 5-star recruits. He's not looking for teenagers. He's looking for dudes. And I think that's a Mark Pope thing. I don't think that's Mitch Barnhart athletic department. I don't think that's anything. I think it's totally on Mark Pope trying to find his own identity as the head coach of Kentucky.
So Posey, he's not even looking for 4-year guys. He's looking for portal and grad transfers. So he's not even. So here's my problem with that, right? So all this crap talked about the front of the front of the jersey. That's not front of the jersey, dude. If you're getting a 5th-year, 6-year transfer and you're getting a portal guy that's coming on his 3rd, 4th team, he don't give a damn about Kentucky. Not one iota. So all this verbiage about now the gold standard is coming back and now we're going to how it should be. I don't think this is how we're not going back to how it was. We're going back to actually kind of, for the fans, worse than Cal. Because at least those one and done, those 18-year-olds are kind of, they can get dazzled by the program and the fan support and still love Kentucky. If I'm coming from Sam Houston State, then I went to Baylor, and I'm coming to Kentucky, I obviously don't care about any of those schools. I'm coming here for my purpose only. So I'm not sure this whole front of the jersey thing is apropos, I guess, because it ain't gonna be happening. You can portal guys.
Hey, Jack Chrysalis asked Boogie Flan out too, per se.
He's listening to Kentucky, but he's another one of those guys that he listened to Mark Pope. They talked. He talked to mom. He talked to dad. And he did not get the vibe that Mark Pope was dying to have Boogie Flan be his starting point guard. So, he's not like, he wanted to be at Kentucky for the brand. He wanted to be a Kentucky basketball player. But if new dude isn't messing with him, if he's not wanting him to be a part of the future of Kentucky basketball, he's not going to force his way there. The thing with like Travis Perry is the example. Like that's a guy who could stay around 4 years, doesn't care about. He is the name on the front of the jersey type guy.
Right.
That's the example. Like there's a sample size of guys that you can go get in the top 75, top 150, where if you take 2 or 3 of those guys a year, that works. But the rest of your, as Van said, the foundation, the core of your roster is going to be graduate transfer, high-level portal guys, and that's your identity. He wants experience. He wants guys that have been around the block and know what it takes to make a run in the Final Four, make a run in the NCAA tournament. Boogie Flan, I don't think is the guy that Mark Pope is just drooling over to be the starting point guard of his first season in Lexington.
I remember talking to Jack, you may be too young to remember. You may have been. You might have. Monmouth played Duke in the NCAA tournament. That's what Gary played for Monmouth. That's the only reason I watched the game. And I remember talking. We was at home. He was talking. He said the biggest thing his transition to college was learning plays. And I was like, learning plays, because our coach is just like Calipari, man. We was so athletic. He would tell us to do stuff here and there, make 3 passes or whatever the case might be. But we really didn't run plays. The stuff we ran was just us knowing each other. But it's just always been in the back of my mind. I was, what do you mean running plays and passes? But how tough can that be? And Gary's a cerebral guy, like a smart guy. And now, so that's kind of where it trips me out, where you're saying Pope even if you get transfer portal guys, they still got to pick up your offense. Pose ain't never said nothing about it. I don't know what it was like for you picking up offenses in college basketball. But the idea, I'm talking, he's a smart guy. He went to the Naval Academy for a minute, but his whole thing, or whatever, he went to an academic JUCO, not one just to play ball. But that was always just been something in the back of my mind. So I'm thinking about when Mark wants to bring these older guys, they still got to gel and learn concepts. So maybe that's what he's looking for.
You talk about Gary Crosby? I'm messing.
Don't do my man like
he
that,
gonna
man.
text me like he gonna text me later.
Man like that. So I was just wondering if it's something like that. Because like I say, and here's the other thing, Jack, you got to have, if you can keep Boogie, maybe, I mean, I guess Reed probably ain't staying, but if you can keep one or two, man, it might be worth it. I mean, the Arrow seems to be able to do a lot of different things. Now, maybe he might not. That's the point I was making. Maybe he ain't upstairs. But how quick can you pick up how well a guy can pick up your offense unless you just putting it on film? Like football, they put on film and see how you can recognize defenses, recognize stuff. Maybe he's doing that, but I don't know.
But you can go ahead.
It's a risk. It is I mean, there's something to be said about, okay, I respect that you want to do things your way and that you think that, okay, Cal's way clearly wasn't working anymore. The messaging wasn't working. Like, I got to go get my guys. I get that. But there's also something to be said about guys that have been through been in the trenches, know what this looks like, been through the adversities and, highs and lows. They get that. The Adu Theros, the Reed Shepherds. Obviously, that, I mean, if there was ever a guy that was ever going to come back to play for Mark Pope, it is Reed Shepherd. I don't expect it, but having a foundation set. The issue right now with Mark Pope is he has no foundation. He has two guys right now, both incoming freshmen. One has not played competitive basketball in 2 seasons because he's been on mission. Like, I get it. I understand that you want to do things your way, but there is such a big risk where you have a 6-man recruiting class. Some of them are going to follow Cal to Arkansas. I mean, Billy Richmond, that guy his dad played for Cal at Memphis. That guy was obviously going to follow Cal to Arkansas. Same thing can be said about Carter Knox. I mean, the connections are there. But if you have a Jaden Quaintz, if you have a Boogie Flang, guys that were, okay, well, I wanted to be a part of Kentucky basketball, and I like that Cal was a part of that. But if the next coach has a nice little pitch for me and the NIL money is there and all that, like, it's something I'm going to be listening to completely turn a blind eye toward that and say, nah, I don't need you. I got my own thing. That's your risk. That is something that I personally would not do, but Mark Pope better have he keeps talking about winning a national championship year one, accepting these expectations, saying that he's not going to duck the pressure that comes with being the head coach of Kentucky. That's all good. I mean, good on you that you're saying all the right shit, but there's also something to be said about when we get to next March and you don't hit those expectations that you set for yourself, then what's the response from there? Because you turned away some of these clear-cut guys that can play from day one. It's a risk.
All right, man. I know I kept you long, and because everybody jumped on here. I kept you longer. You can stick around if you want to. I don't know what you got going on. I know you're a father and whatnot, but I did want to ask you this. Then
Let's go, but hold up.
No.
Hey, that was a Southern Baptist preacher thing. I'm not gonna keep y'all long, Jack. You're gonna be here another hour.
No, because that lets you know you wind this question up. You and you on here. There ain't no other hour, man. We about to tie this up out of here, man. Y'all, everybody East Coast. I know a lot of people ask. I know we talked about it on Sunday. I'm not sure how many people listen on Sunday. That Cal. So this is what Van said this earlier. I always thought Cal was making 8.5. He was making 8.5 that first year. I didn't know he only making 7. And I wanted to say this earlier when you said that. So you go into the office. You go into the office with the offensive coordinator. I mean, you go with the athletic director. Like, look, man, I got an offer, which is $1 million cheaper, somewhere that you don't want to be. And then they also said he was flirting with Ohio State or somewhere else. But it also, what you said in the beginning, Cal didn't really want to leave. Like, what is your heart of hearts? Like, did he feel like he had to leave? Because I'm on the fence where he could have took that damn $33 million and just stuck around here and made y'all mad.
He was told to leave. There is
I ain't never think about that.
There is a very so. Here's the thing. Cal has the biggest ego of any person I have ever met in my life. John Calipari wants to be loved. He wants to have the feeling of the people around me respect my ability to achieve the highest of highs. And that was no longer the case here in Lexington. So when you got Chicken Man Tyson with the Tyson Chicken saying, hey, we want you to be the face of Arkansas basketball. We got this money. We got this NIL pot. We got all of the stuff that you don't think that you're getting right now in Lexington. Of course, you're going to listen. You go, all right, cool. Like, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. And when they give you everything that you think that you want, and then you start getting past the point of no return of, well, what would this look like? How many years? What are the terms of agreement? Okay, I'm agreeing to terms on a 5-year contract, and it gets leaked. And when you go back to the school that already made the decision to whether they were going to fire you because of 5 years of no postseason success, you go back to that school and say, hey, this other school wants me on this 5-year lucrative contract. Do you want me back? And the other school's like, I damn near fired you a week ago for a $33 million buyout. Sounds like you got your hands full. I'll see you in Fayetteville. So it became one of those deals where he overplayed his hand, getting the interest, going to the person that wants him. He takes the deal with Fayetteville, with Arkansas, goes back to Kentucky. He says, hey, is this something you want to match? Is this something that you want? Can we talk NIL numbers? What does this look like? Because I'm clearly a wanted commodity. And Kentucky says, no, you need to go on and go. You have breached your contract. Your options are you are fired for cause for breaching contract, or you can be the head coach of the University of Arkansas. And the big ego guy says, sounds like I'm going to Arkansas. It just becomes past the point of no return. Cal overplayed his hand, and now he bit the hand that fed him. So now he is the head coach of Arkansas, even though he doesn't want to be there. So it's very complicated, but it was an ego issue that ended up forcing his move to Fayetteville.
Dang, man. Sheesh. Wow. Appreciate no loyalty in the game, man. I appreciate that, man. That's why I sleep on my back, man. You can't stab me in my back.
Whoa. Take it easy, brother. Take it easy.
Put your knife down.
Take it easy, man.
Like I said, after that, that's all I got for you, man. If you want to stick around, feel free to. I ain't gonna give these guys too much more of my time, Jack.
Jack, appreciate you, man. Listen, I appreciate you, man. Just know that.
Yeah, Jack.
I appreciate you. Just know that.
We'll end it on a good note.
Yes, he stopped being a Celtics fan just like he stopped being a Patriots fan. So,
hey, we're all in on this number 3 pick next Thursday. We're all in on Boston.
We'll see,
hey,
man.
Pose, tell me, are we winning the?
Whoa! Did you say we? Is
we?
Jack French?
Yes. Are we winning the title?
I didn't know Jack was French. My bad.
As of right now, we.
Which one is we? Which we?
As,
we.
You're 08 Celtic. You know what I'm saying? A tradition, part of that tradition.
You definitely ain't gonna have no job.
Has a chance. Has a chance. Have a chance. You just never know.
I don't like that. I don't like the politic answer.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you guys.
All right. Jack. Yeah, man. So I should have got off with him. I ain't gonna stay in with y'all. Shit.
Man, I'm out too. You hold me hostage over here.
What was that? What the hell?
I've been telling you y'all can leave whenever y'all came on.
You'd have been talking to yourself. You would have been talking to yourself and Gary at the end of the day.
I would have been talking. I would have been talking to myself. It's okay. Nah, they was on here. They was asking them questions. They just like to hear from other people. They don't always like to hear my opinion, man. And you understand?
Hey, listen.
You and Gary didn't come from winning programs, so y'all don't understand the language we talk over here.
Wow.
Say what?
Damn.
Huh? How many national championships you got?
Huh?
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah.
How many you got?
You had to play with Shaq, Kevin Garnett. Who's you? What?
Wow. How many you got?
I got cut, or I would have had 2.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Watch your mouth.
Listen,
man.
hey, Man, listen, I appreciate you, invite me on again. You know what I'm saying? I was getting a little worried and stuff like that, but I know you're busy, man. You got, better entertainment, than myself that appears on your show. So I appreciate you reaching out to me.
You know where the phone at, man. Get in that group chat, man.
I'm in the. Hey, listen, we ain't gonna talk about that group chat.
Yeah, I should tell you slow down on the group chat, man. You talking about 25? You talking 25? What they call them, forwards a day? Hey, I gotta go back through. Stroll through before I go to bed, Van House. That's how it is. That's how it is when you big ball and ain't got nothing to worry about all day.
Nah, sometimes you have a little free time on your hands, you get bored a little bit, so you gotta do something. As long as my work is done, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Facts.
Yeah. Shoot, man, I appreciate that, man.
I appreciate
that. Hey, guess what?
Uh-oh. Hey.
He's stupid like that, man. Nah, you missed it, man. You missed some good stuff, man.
I see, man.
Some good stuff. I tried to hold off conversations you got there, man, but I ain't want to keep them on girls too long. I ain't want to keep them on Williamsburg too long. Next time, make better plans.
Man, look, district champs, brother. That's all we had to do. What we had to do.
Hey, that's good stuff. Then that's worth it. Then
yeah,
good old work.
Yeah, they were moving everybody, pretty much the whole team on the region. Now we got to advance the state. So, what's that?
I didn't realize I got all your doggone inboxes and messages. I kept seeing my phone blow up, and I'm like, I know y'all see me doing a damn podcast. But anyways, man, we appreciate y'all, man, for coming in, supporting y'all. When is state?
Well, region is next Tuesday. Then state is May 3rd.
When is May 3rd?
Friday. It's a Friday.
Oh, so okay, so y'all got everything be done next week.
No, we got region next week, then we got a week off. It's not that Friday.
Oh, yeah, it's Friday after that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I was thinking, man, these days running together.
Dude, they are, man. Don't get me started. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So we'll be back doing our normal thing next week, man. Everybody like, subscribe, share.
I want to personally thank Posey and Jack for jumping on to hold it down with you while I was at the track meet, man. That was I'm sure it was good conversation. I have to go back and watch it on YouTube. Like some of y'all who came on late, do like I did. Do like I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to rewatch the first 40 minutes on YouTube.
And I owe you. Well, I guess me, HR, somebody owe apology. Last week we got onto y'all about Johnny KY Blue. I don't know how Van feels, but if you want me to talk about football, you ain't gonna want to hear what you're gonna have a stomach ache. That's why I've been avoiding. Why do you think I never talk about girls basketball until we got Kenny Brooks? Hey, I ain't as in depth as Van, but I could have touched on it. But man, I don't want to hurt your stomach. That's why I ain't talking about UK football, man. All the good news. What Steve Harvey say? All the news about your football team ain't been good news. That we said in Kings of Comedy.
That ain't good then.
But that's just my take, though. My take could be wrong. We did say last week that y'all wasn't giving enough likes. Apparently, all we can see is Facebook likes. So we don't see Twitter, YouTube, Instagram likes. So all we were seeing was one. So while we was beating y'all up, y'all could have been liking, and we apologize. So don't take that too personally, but still go like, subscribe, share, follow, bring a friend. And if we give you the opportunity, make sure you guys come on and comment with us. We want to hear what the people got to say. Go back and forth a little bit. But we'll be back next week. Hopefully there won't be, basketball-wise, we'll probably have some more recruits. Our baseball team is rocking and rolling. 17 runs.
Woo!
And gave up 13.
It don't matter. It don't matter what you give up. We scored more than they did. L's down all day.
Yes, sir. Van hit it on the head. With that being said, we'll be back next week. We appreciate y'all. We out of here.